Tony? You think the business has just fundamentally changed, like in 20 years? Like, is it
No,
just
it's a post-pandemic. It's a pandemic just fucked everything up completely.
yeah,
No, we're figuring it out, and I think in some ways some of these changes are for the better. But it's certainly we started adapting Fallout in 2019
Yeah.
when some of the concerns of that show or the games rather
mm,
seemed almost quaint and retro. Um,
Right, right. Yeah. Like
you
a
know,
call back to duck and cover videos, LOL.
yes.
And here we are. But yeah, and then the pandemic happened, and one of the first things that dawned on Geneva and I were like, oh, we're vault dwellers. We're patting ourselves in the back for being heroes
Does
for
it make
staying.
inessential or essential? I can't remember.
We are
Inessential.
absolutely inessential, fundamentally extraneous. While the real, people we rely on in the world were working in meat packing plants and farms and grocery stores and all that. And yeah, so if we were ever a little hard on the vault dwellers in this show, it's because we were being hard on ourselves.
yeah,
Because yeah, we felt a little clownish, I guess.
yeah. I actually, but funny, I was going to say that. I mean, just not to start on, I guess, on a Debbie Downer of a question, but given, I suppose, the state of the world as we kind of live in it, and even you see other movies like Civil War, like Alex Garland's Civil War, like there does seem to be a kind of I don't want to say like an awareness that we're possibly living in end times, but like I'm wondering. I mean, that's obviously got to play in your mind when you're writing and directing this, right? I mean, it's got to be an awareness of we're if we don't change, we're kind of fucked. Like,
A little bit, although I think there is a human glitch, a glitch in human nature that we all imagine our generation is the last one. And there's a bit of narcissism behind it, right? Like we can't imagine a world that goes on without us. And we can't imagine that maybe we live in a moment in history that isn't actually that interesting or that important, historically speaking. I think it's part of how we survived all of the end times over the years is by being more attuned to negativity, more attuned to bad news than good news because it kept you alive.
Mhm.
But I think I listened to a talk by the great Stuart Brand earlier in the year where he said that humans are very good at destroying the world. We're also very good at rebuilding the world. And that's why for me with Fallout, there is this odd, almost gonzo thread of optimism that runs through the games, which is not really about the end of one world. It's about the beginning of a new world.
yeah,
And I think that's one of the things that makes this world palatable to me. I was never interested in it. These are some fantastic films that have been made and television that have been made in a world which is clearly done, right? There's no culture left. There's nothing left. I think one of the most surprising things about Fallout, the games, and hopefully the series is that when Lucy comes to the surface, expecting to find a handful of indigent, restless orphans who she can sort of start singing, teaching the national anthem to. What she finds instead, which challenges her very worldview, is the culture is persistent. That Graham, you made this point. You can't bomb the weirdness out of us, right?
Yeah, yeah. The one thing that survives is our foibles, and I think that's really true. Like if look, if the bombs were falling and we had an hour, there'd be a tweet that would make you laugh. You know what I mean? Like someone would be like, I gotta share this one. I think that's innocent. There'd be a joke shortly after the bombs fell too. I think we'd persist because that's just too much of who we are.
yeah. I have to say as well, one thing I've only seen the first like four episodes, but I have to say I really love that you've kind of touched on this already. I love that you preserve the humor, because some of the lines and some of the scenes in the games are absolutely hilarious. Like I really love that you kept that in. I guess I'm wondering, and this will be my final question. Was there, I guess, a particular, I don't know, side quest? Was there a particular, I don't know, scene or moment from Fallout 3 or 4 or New Vegas that you were thinking, we've got to put this in, this is too funny to leave out?
We didn't really pull that level of specifics. We certainly nod to a lot of those things, and in various ways. Like in our own way, we've done our version of the boy in the fridge and done it a little differently. But yeah, we wanted to really just pull the essence of Fallout and do more of our own, as they have over the years with the games. They don't really retread, they, you know, reconstitute, you know, so we kind of took that philosophy and said, acted as though we're making a new Fallout game, even though video games aren't our medium, television is. So we just went forth that way.
Everyone wants to save the world. They disagree on how.
There you are, you little killer.